They laughed at him. Not in the quiet, polite way people sometimes laugh at strangers. Not a soft chuckle or a fleeting smirk, no. They mocked him with teeth-baring certainty, a laughter that dug into your skin and lodged in your bones. They laughed because he didn't speak. He didn't argue. He didn't retaliate. He didn't even flinch. He just existed in a silence that made them uneasy, because silence doesn't explain itself. Silence doesn't justify anything. And they hated it. They hated not understanding. He moved like a shadow in a crowded room. Not unnoticed exactly. He had presence. But he never shouted, never demanded attention. At school, at work, in streets overflowing with life, he carried a quiet so heavy that it felt like gravity around him. People assumed silence meant submission. They mistook calm for weakness, inattention for ignorance. They didn't see the storm behind his eyes, the fire hidden in the pauses, in the unsaid words. Every insult bounced off him. Every sneer, every whispered loser, every mocking smile rolled off him like water over stone. He didn't react, and that made them angrier. They wanted a spark, a fight, a reaction, but he didn't give them anything, nothing. And in their arrogance, they convinced themselves he was weak, that he didn't notice, that he didn't care. But they were wrong. He watched. He listened. Every joke at his expense became a data point. Every scornful glance, every eye roll, every tiny dismissal, he cataloged, stored, analyzed. His mind became a ledger of human behavior. He didn't speak because he knew words are fleeting, but actions echo. Actions never forget. At night, he replayed every encounter, every laugh, every shove, every insult, every mocking glance. He felt the sting, the pain, the loneliness, but he did not let it define him. He learned from it. He built from it. He grew in silence, shaping his mind like a sculptor shaping marble. In the beginning, it was survival. No mentors, no friends, no allies. Just a stubborn heart refusing to break, a mind refusing to quit, a silent promise that he would rise beyond this cruelty. He often sat alone, staring at the ceiling, questioning why the world was so indifferent, but he never let it stop him. The world doesn't hand you victory. It doesn't care about your silence. It is indifferent, brutal, cruel. Every day it tested him, tried to prove he was invisible, irrelevant, incapable, and every day he survived. He started small, tiny victories, unnoticed, a skill learned, a fear faced, a habit mastered. Step by step, brick by brick, he built a foundation hidden from the world. And every person who laughed at him, every person who dismissed him, they fueled the fire. They gave him motivation he didn't need to ask for. There was a day when the laughter cut deeper than ever, a humiliating, soul-crushing day. A project he had poured months into, something that could have changed everything, was ridiculed in front of the very people who would later doubt him. The room erupted with laughter, sharp and bitter. His ideas were mocked, minimized, called impossible. And he said nothing. He didn't yell, he didn't cry, he didn't beg, he didn't retaliate. He walked home, carried himself quietly into the darkness of his room, and began again. Not out of anger, not out of revenge, but because he understood a secret most people never learn. The loudest victories are silent. The sweetest triumphs are the ones that make your doubters speechless. Nights turned into months, months into years. Each day his silence became a canvas for discipline. Each night his mind painted strategies while others slept. Hands moved in private, crafting skills, building knowledge, sharpening instinct. Every day he improved. Every night he refined. Every small victory built an invisible ladder that only he could see. He endured. Close calls, minor defeats, missed opportunities, he faced them all silently. He failed in private, he stumbled in shadows, and yet he rose each time, stronger, wiser, more calculated. The world continued to mock him, unaware that it was forging a weapon in his quiet hands. Then came the day they noticed, not the small victories, not the quiet achievements, the culmination, the years of silence, the unseen grind, the meticulous, relentless preparation. He appeared in a space that demanded proof, a challenge no one expected him to handle. He didn't announce himself, he didn't boast, he didn't apologize for existing. He simply let his actions speak, and the world heard. He won. Not by margin, not by chance, not by accident. He won completely, overwhelmingly, so definitively that the people who had mocked him could not find a single word to say. They looked at him, mouths open, minds scrambling, and he remained silent. His silence had become louder than any insult they had thrown. His calm had become a power stronger than any taunt. And in that moment, something shifted, not in them, but in him. He realized all the laughter, all the scorn, all the doubt. It had been part of his journey, not a prison. Their mockery had been the hammer forging him, their disbelief the fire igniting him. And his silence had been his shield, his teacher, his sword. He understood the lesson most people never grasp. The world is loud, chaotic, and cruel. But if you survive in silence, if you endure doubt, if you rise while others are busy laughing, when you finally act, the victory is yours alone, and its echoes last far longer than their laughter ever could. He didn't just win, he rewrote the rules. He proved silence is not weakness, that patience is not passivity, that persistence is not invisible. He proved the world may laugh at you today, but your tomorrow will leave them speechless. And in the end, silence wasn't empty. It was full of strength, full of resolve, full of a power no laughter could touch. They laughed at him, and he won without speaking. And in that quiet victory, he taught the one truth they would never understand. The greatest power isn't in being heard. The greatest power is in being unstoppable.